Good morning. So, I just realized I didn't have the music up this morning. You got to see me in my breathing phase here. That moment where I'm like switching the light switch that says it's time to relax. Listen to the cards like they're the sounds of the ocean. Put my feet flat on the floor, relax my shoulders and neck. For me, it's listening to the cards, and it's just that light switch, and it reminds me, okay, for the next 15 minutes, I can just focus on the tarot, focus on just relaxing. Give myself this 15 minutes, slow things down a little bit. So, glad I wasn't picking my nose. So good morning, my name's Jamie, MyTarot. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And welcome to our daily reflection, our daily inventory, where we can take a look at ourselves, see how things are going, see how things have been, and maybe make slight adjustments. And how we're feeling or how we're reacting. Something that simple. So, it's our chance to check in with the universe. See if there's any tips or tricks, any angers or resentments that are lingering out there. Things that might throw us off our game. Maybe if we look at it, take a few extra minutes in the morning, maybe we'll be able to, instead of react later on if something comes up, maybe we can just remind ourselves to go take a few minutes, take an extra breath. So, what does the universe have for us today? You know, I probably say the same thing just about every morning, but it's a reminder to myself also that, you know, that's one of those things that I'm doing. I'm looking in the mirror and seeing what their universe has to reflect back. And then maybe whatever the wisdom of the universe is, maybe it can help somebody else. Maybe it triggers something in somebody else. Something positive. Hopefully. Okay, so here we have our 3 stacks. Each one of these is a different thread going out to the universe. Each one of these is a different thought or a different conversation, or if you believe in the multiverse, each one of these is a different path, because this conversation will lead down one path as compared to the other 2. So today, let's go with the center stack. Let's see what's right at the heart. I'm going to do the 3 and 1. And I'll flip each one over just like the pages of a book, just like the page of coins. So, page of coins. Pages are what? They're court cards, which can be us or somebody else, or just part of the situation. Pages are when we are learning something new. Pages are like a younger self when we find something, and it's a chance to grow. And with coins are about home, health, finances, elements of earth. So, and this page is staring fascinatedly at that coin. Maybe so fascinatingly that they're being distracted. So we have the Fool reversed. So the Fool is carefree. When we're letting things go, things aren't bothering us. Also, sometimes it can also be about being oblivious to things. Being the Fool. And this Fool doesn't even notice they're about to walk off the edge of the cliff, and people have made stories about how he's miraculously saved, or there's another ledge right underneath that one. Here we have the dog trying to stop him, but this fool's reversed. And they're just going straight off this cliff here. So, let's see what this next part of the story is then. The Hanged Man reversed. So we have our two majors here. Minors, court cards, or day-to-day cards. These are the cards that just 1 hour that flows into the next. It's just day-to-day. But the majors, like the Fool, like the Hanged Man, these are the destiny cards. And we've got two cards reversed here. The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is about sacrifice, acceptance. It's also popular to say, as far as the Hangman, that the Hangman is also about seeing things in a different perspective. Good morning, Jenna. So we're having something interesting here. You know, it's actually interesting. History. Originally also, was it Levi? Not the Devlin. Was it Levi? Thought that the Hangman was actually somebody dancing. That whoever made the tarot actually had it reversed, and that this is a person dancing. But no, it's the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is about acceptance, sacrifice, letting things go. So far, this is when we start something new, we put our expectations into something. Such as like the page here. And again, the page is about starting something new, starting something fresh. And as Jenna says, kind of interesting how regardless of upright or down, the Fool and Hanged Man face the opposite way. Yeah. So he's facing forward. He's actually looking at his feet now. Or they're looking at their feet. But with the page, when we're starting something, maybe we get super distracted by the coin that's in our hand, or we're super distracted by whatever it might be, that we ignore the obvious. And that can be frustrating because we can end up walking right off a cliff. And with the Hanged Man here next to the Fool, it's one of those things where we don't want to sacrifice. We don't want the acceptance. It's almost like with a kid, we want what we want when we want it. And you can't tell a kid anything. You know, the kid's going to have to learn themselves. They're going to have to walk off the cliff. They're going to have to learn. It's like, you know, if you're not willing to give, if you're not willing to sacrifice, then things just don't get handed to us. But here's the advice card. So, you know, this is a 50-50 deck as far as reversals. And we have 3 reversals here. So today it's kind of like the universe is saying, all right, what is our expectations for the day? You know, if we're starting something, if there's a task we need to do, we need to stop first and take a breath, because here we have the 4 of Swords. Now, personally, this is my significator, because people normally will pick a major card as a significator, but for some reason, just the piece in this card, we see the person laying here, and swords are about thoughts, swords are ideas, and when you start out with the swords, you know, an Ace of Swords is about a new beginning. It's about a seed. 2 swords is when you're trying to make choices. As you go up through the swords, it gets heavier and anxiety starts to build. But with the 4 of Swords, 4s are like the 4 legs on a table, 4 legs on a chair, as I always say. It's about stability. And I've always been attracted to this card because I guess it's because that sense of this is what I want. So this is reminding us, because this is reversed. Are we taking the time before we start? Are we going in and saying, okay, so this is my day. This is how things have been going. Before I start out on this journey, before this journey starts out, I need to stop, not just focus on, do the ADD focus where you just focus on one thing intently and don't recognize anything else. The advice card is saying, let's turn this around. Before we do anything, let's take a breath today. Let's not just jump into things because we got to get things done. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to do this. Just imagine that without taking a moment's breath, you notice how shortcuts always take the longest time to get someplace? If you've ever read The Lord of the Rings, it starts right off with the shortcut. And they try to make the shortcut, and it takes them the long way around. And a lot of times that's what happens when we're trying to start something out. And then we end up doing things, walking right off a cliff. And then we get so frustrated. It's not about doing the sacrifice and doing what we have to. We just keep getting more and more frustrated. So today is about, in some jobs, like, I deal with computers, 90% of the job is the thinking. The 10% is the doing. 90% of the job is the thinking, 10% is the doing. So if you turn that around, 90% of the job is doing and 10% thinking. That's where we start doing this. So, and then as Jenna says, the shortcut doesn't always go as planned, but the long walk may be what is needed. That is true. So, today, think about what it is that we may need to accomplish, or this week, something that we may need to accomplish. And this is saying, are we doing the 90% thinking and the 10% doing, or the 90% of just burning energy to get 10% done? And then what about the frustration we feel from that? So, and actually that's for my day. And like I said, I do computers. And we got a lot of stuff going on. And with my job, you can't just jump into, I want to just jump into something. I love being hyper. But this is a good reminder for me. So with that, I hope everybody here has an amazing day, an amazing evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will be back here again tomorrow. And so thank you all again very, very much. Take care, and I will talk to you later.